Yeah.
Welcome everybody.
Evening, Matt.
So, right, item 1 on the agenda, to receive apologies for absence and no non-attendance. Pete.
Got Councillors Brotherton, Fazy, Messon, Strain, Francis, Edwards, White, Bratt and Mortimer.
Thank you.
Councillor Farsi sends her apologies.
I've got that one.
Yeah. Item 2, to note declarations of any members' interests.
I have a declaration after being a trustee.
Right.
Same for me.
Councillor Murray.
Land transfer.
Okay. Item 3 is the minutes of the meeting held on the 24th of September. Is there any issues arising from that we should note? I'll have to proceed. No. Can I seek a proposal then for the minutes, please? Those.
Yeah.
Councillor Murray and Councillor Rhodes. Seconded. All those in favour? All those against? Any abstentions? All noted, thank you. Item 4, public participation. This is a period not exceeding 15 minutes for members of the public to ask questions or submit comments in relation to the published agenda items. We have no questions this year. Thank you. Item 5, to receive the updates from committee chairs in relation to the meetings held since the Crewe Town Council meeting on the 26th of September, 24th of September 2023.
No change.
Yeah. So, Finance and Government Committee, can I ask Councillor Jill Rose as Chair of the Committee to propose the recommendations?
Thank you. I have to propose that the Council accepts the following policies: sexual harassment policy, the cookie policy, the emergency plan and the ICT policy, and I recommend adoption. That item 3, that the land at Stony Park is accepted as a transfer to the Council for the purpose of planning allotments. Then it's recommended that the transfer of land to the Heritage Centre from Treasury Council to Crewe Town Council Crewe, and that we appoint a local roofing contractor to re-roof the Council's offices using general reserve. So I'm happy to propose that recommendation.
Do you have any members wishing to speak on this item? In that case, can I seek a proposer? Seconder for it, please. Councillor Chapman. All those in favour? All those against? Any abstentions?
Abstain on item 4.
Thank you. Councillor Edwards has had to.
Has entered the building.
So item 5B, Public Services Committee. There are no recommendations for consideration for this committee. Are these minutes are just to be noted? Taking consensus of the meeting. Are you happy with that? Yeah. So, item C, committees, events and culture. Councillor Edwards, as chair of the committee, can you propose the recommendations?
Yes, the Events and Culture Committee had 3 items for consideration after our meeting held on the 7th of October. Item 1, that provision of an in-house resource to build the town centre events and activation output, as well as supporting current event output sustainability, is recommended for approval. Item 2, that the Crewe Day Festival 2025 strategic event is recommended for approval. And item 3, that the Crazy Races event returns to Crewe next year and is recommended for approval.
Are there any members wishing to speak on this item? I can ask a question. When is the Crewe Day Festival going to be taking place and what date?
July, near the 4th, the weekend nearest that.
Okay. And why are we doing that?
Well, we're directed to have a large strategic event specific for Crewe,
Right, okay.
and so that the proposals were sourced as directed, and going forward now to make that happen.
Sounds wonderful. Great, thank you. Any other members wish, Councillor Northcote?
This item one, talks about provision of in-house resources to build the town central building. Could, maybe the chair or a member of the committee, expand on that just a little bit, for the benefit of those of us who, are not familiar with all that.
Clark or Councillor Edwards?
Yeah. The council delivers quite a broad range of events, and the ambition, as I understand it, has been to consolidate that and build that and make more happen. There was work done during the summer and autumn to seek to find how to make Lyceum Square specifically more active, more successful in terms of delivery. That included working with the community to try and provide facilitation to make it more attractive to community, to make that space work, and with the understanding that the town, particularly the town centre, would value more event delivery. It was found in the report that went to committee, found that activation specifically focused only on Lyceum Square, whilst having some positivity, was not providing the wider benefit to the town centre or the enhancements to broad event delivery. And also it was very expensive for that level of focus, and an in-house delivery would be more cost efficient and potentially provide more events that would reflect where people are across the town, which may include Lyceum Square, but wouldn't exclude, for example, Market Square, Memorial Square, other areas, potentially the Royal Arcade if it becomes available to us, those sorts of spaces as well.
So we've got sufficient resources to do that.
Yeah, in that recommendation, and that's what the committee's drafted in its budget, which is sort of gone through that much.
That means support for existing stuff.
It builds capacity of the in-house team, but it gives it a year-round provision rather than just a season provision.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? No? So do I have a seconder? All those in favour? Anyone against? Is that unanimous? Thank you. So the next three items, D, E, F, if we can take these on block, as there is no recommendations from the Planning and Environment, Community and Personnel Committees. So these minutes are just for noting, and we're happy to note those. Meeting, thank you. Move on to item 6, to note any updates from the members having attended any external meetings. Are there any members who have any updates? Councillor McKay.
Yes, basically as also liaison to the Crewe Heritage Centre. Just to give everyone an update as kind of the flavour, obviously the season's finished. I know already we have had more visitors than we have had the previous year. It is definitely noted that a lot of that's to do with the work between the Crewe Town Council, ourselves, and the events that have been put on that really helped bring people to the centre. The other things to note is that they're currently interviewing right now for a Heritage Centre Development Officer. This originally was going to be a funding officer, but they sort of reincorporated it into a larger position. There was actually, just keep an eye out for the fact that on Channel 5 they were filming a documentary on Cheshire, with the film at the Heritage Centre. Apparently it's going to be broadcast in the spring, which is quite a nice little extra for us. For those who may be interested in the cameras that are put up to observe the trains passing by on the lines, in terms of site security, it's been decided that the Railcam camera Crewe HC3 is going to be taken down for security purposes. Just in case that ever comes up in terms of someone asking a question. But site security has been improved. There are now new locks on the gates, including combination locks to make sure it's kept secure. There is a new office porta cabin that's now been installed, and they're currently working on setting up CCTV as well. This is all in line with going for the application for museum status next year. Other than that, yes, the work is ongoing when it comes down to the ramp issues and the APT. So basically, there's a lot of work that's been going on to continue to improve the site and to make sure that the funding is spent in the right places in order to aim for the museum accreditation.
Anybody else want? Councillor Hoffman?
Questions. You mentioned one of the rail cameras. Is that the only one? Are there others?
No, that's the only one because the way it's positioned, it actually gives anyone who goes onto the website the ability to know exactly who's on site any time. And it points into the centre, so it needs to be.
So there's people who in past have want to observe the station movements and all the rest of it. Can't do that anymore.
Just from that one particular camera.
Point of order.
That's what I
Are we discussing sensitive security information here in this public meeting, in this recorded meeting? I'm just wondering.
I think what we're discussing is the fact that what could have been security breaches been seen at that site.
It's just in terms of tenant council, it's just in case anyone ever comes to you about why that camera was doing.
So, I mean, the point is though that all the thousands or hundreds of thousands of trade spotters who'd like to see what's happening at the station will still be able to observe it from one.
Yes, this particular camera, yeah, it wasn't pointing at the station, it was pointing at the
Very wise to have removed it then.
Thank you. Any updates from any of the boards or meetings? Councillor Rhodes, Jill Rhodes?
Just the town board, basically, town board has sent its report back into government as it should do, a couple of weeks ago, to tell them about spending and how things are progressing. And everybody can see that we've now got activity around what will be youth serving and also got activity around boxing. So all those projects that are coming online now after the necessary delays for building.
I've been working with
Councillor Graham?
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah.
I'm not suspicious.
My mind went blank, sorry, I apologise.
I've been working with Churches Together, which I've been a member of for many, many years, and we have secured a grant from Cheshire East, well, it's via Cheshire East, it's levelling up money, in order to set up a befriending service for Crewe and surrounding area. So I'll give further updates as that progresses, but at the moment there is a job advert out to take on someone to coordinate it.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to item 7, consider the approval payment between the 1st of August 2024 and the 31st of October 2024 to the value of £328,386.28. This has been recommended by the Finance and Governance Committee. The Chair of Finance and Governance Committee will propose this item.
Happy to propose that we accept the payments.
So, any members wishing to speak on this item? Then can I seek a seconder, please? Councillor Hoffman. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you. Item 8. To notice the spend to date, as at the 31st of October, financial material variance report as recommended by the Finance and Governance Committee. This report is just for noting. Are we happy to note this report? Thank you. Item 9, to receive the recommendations from the Finance and Governance Committee relating to the draft 2025-26 council budget. I ask Councillor Rhodes of the Finance and Governance Committee to introduce this item.
Right, the draft budget has been circulated because there's been to committee a number of times, people tell us, and there are 2 recommendations. Recommended the council sets a balanced budget that fulfils the council's ambitions and think legally we have to set a balanced budget. And that following the budget setting process 2025-26, the annual budget for Crewe Town Council is approved with a precept of £440,796. I have got a short speech because by setting that amount, we are setting a precept of 5.33%, which for a band A property is £3.28 a year, and for a band D property is £4.92 a year. So a very modest amount. As a council, we're aware that many residents in Crewe have financial constraints, and we are trying to minimise the increase. Unfortunately, council costs have increased. Recent announcements around rising costs of employees' national insurance contributions and pay agreements means that continuing to provide services to the residents will cost us more. Since the founding of the council, many have always looked to local residents and provide entertainment for residents of all ages. The list of community groups supported by the council grows every year. These groups help our most vulnerable residents, as well as providing for those suffering through poverty. We've tried to help make the town centre a more pleasant place. By congratulating the Otter team for the successful delivery of the last two public events, Remembering Sunday and Christmas Lights. These events highlight how the council's work in entertaining the residents of Crewe and providing appropriate events for them to enjoy. I'm sure the tree light ceremony will be well attended, as I know this is something that all residents want. I'd like to recommend the budget to council.
The House seconder, please. Councillor Chapman. Are there any members wishing to speak on this item? Councillor Hogan.
Just to endorse those comments made by the leader of the council, and there's been some careful work done by all of the committees to bring this within a reasonable range, and as you pointed out, the net increase for most people will be £3 or £4 a year, which is about, I don't want to say about the price of a cup of coffee, or if you get a certain pot in this area, half a pint, actually. There you go. And Simon's done myself quite wise moves. I think a good example, if I may mention, is Crewe, as a council, invested £100,000 a year, in effect giving a grant to the large local authority locally to improve play parks, to supplement the programme that they're undertaking with government funding. But obviously you can't keep doing that indefinitely. Having supported three parks, the two about £400,000 so far, the next step will be to maintain them, and that's why there's a change of emphasis, for example, on that item. And there are other things which I was going to speak about if they chose, or at least could make plain to people. This is about, being ambitious at the same time containing what we do. If we as a town, we invested in facilities, then it makes sense for us to ensure that they're kept in good order and actually perhaps improve the conditions in certain other areas. And this can apply to other services if we're so-minded. I'm really pleased to see that we continue with the library support. And it's interesting to note, isn't it, that there were only two town parish councils in the whole of the borough previously that supported their libraries. That was Crewe and Manchester. Now it looks as though a few other councils have followed that lead. So it tells you something about the value of taking the lead, because it will be necessary for, in my opinion anyway, for town and parish councils to look carefully at those things they support that people actually want. there's a real opportunity there, isn't there, for our council and others to actually ask people, well, what do you want us to do on your behalf? What do you value? What are your priorities? So it's not just our wishes. So, yeah, I'm actually very happy to support the proposed budget. Thank you.
Councillor Yates.
Thank you, Brad. I'd also just like to follow up with that and endorse the comments that Jill made, but also add to that, because I think the agenda of this meeting this evening demonstrates the vision of this council and its ability through the decision making by councillors and the delivery by its officers to actually provide a tremendous value for money to the residents of this town. And you really need to look at the agenda for this meeting to see the things that have moved forward again. And this budget clearly provides an opportunity for us to continue to do that and to demonstrate the importance of the role of town councils in the future, which I hope will continue to grow. If I may, a question to Pete, and that is, do we know yet, Pete, whether to what extent there's an increase in the number of households for next year at all?
We don't have those figures because that's the built-out time of the developers. We know that the what's called the tax base, which is a representative figure that's calculated by the levy authority, which is Cheshire East, has increased above what was predicted in the medium term financial strategy, which is 0.05%, it's gone up by 0.1%. And so that's made a difference. That's helped keep that figure down as well. So the increases associated with the developments will impact us in more in 2 years' time than in 1 year's time. There'll be a lot built out in 2 years' time.
If I may, thanks for that. I think it's a shame that so many people, of course, see Crewe as their town and live outside the boundaries of the town, and it's a pity that a number of those issues haven't been resolved in the ward boundary changes that have taken place, but that's where we are. I'm sure that people living outside the town will continue to take advantage of the fact that they can actually access so many things for free. Thank you.
Yeah. And that was evident at meeting recently on the libraries, as somebody said that the libraries in Crewe were just for Crewe folk, and I pointed out that there's actually so many people on that library list who will have Worcester, Williston, Shavington, Haslington addresses that use the Crewe libraries, and it isn't just for Crewe people. So,
I'll just add to that. That's a point really well made, and I must say, listening to that particular meeting, we heard, it was an Oxford councillor make some such comment, wasn't it? It could have been Oxford, or it could have been anywhere in the north of the borough, or anywhere else. I think I know who it was. It was a bit sour, really, and I thought it isn't just exactly the same, and actually it makes me think, well, the efforts will continue to be made by appropriate people, not necessarily our hard-working class, to get on board some of the surrounding parishes, who seem to think, well, yes, it's a facility, but who can pay for that? And frankly, at the risk of upsetting them, and I'm not bothered if I do, to be honest, until they tell me if I shouldn't. I think it is about time that some of those surrounding parishes made a contribution. Probably maybe even a chance to do it for next year.
yes.
After setting their precepts. So the likes of whether it's Williston or Shavington or Worcesterston or Leighton even, or the one that is now called, all these Haslington, they all benefit. They're all part of the greater Crewe conurbation.
They are
And they
indeed.
hate to be referred to as such. Thank you.
Thank you. So, do I have a second that all? Yes, Councillor Chapman. All those in favour? Thank you. And that's unanimous. Thank you. Item 10. It is recommended that the committee considers a resolution under Section 1 of the Public Bodies Admissions to Meetings Act 1960 to exclude the public and representatives of the press from the meeting during the consideration of item 11 on the grounds that the matters contain sensitive information by the reasons of confidential nature of the business being transacted. Can I seek a proposer for this, please? Councillor Chapman, seconder. Councillor Murray. All those in favour? Okay.